supposed to talk? I'll have to explain later. I don't want to say finally I'm leaving Tokyo, but in a way I do. I have been here exactly 4 weeks. I arrived from Canada 4 weeks ago, and I plan to be here for a week, just about. So I've had the most amazing time. I've stayed with the most lovely family. Thank you, Louise and Rune and everyone. But finally, I am leaving Tokyo today. I'm getting the train to Hamamatsu to see the Suzuki Museum. I'm so excited about that. And then I'm going to stay the night in Osaka. So a couple of trains to get today. Yeah, bye-bye Tokyo. It's been great.
It was on to a Shinkansen yet again to get to Hamamatsu main station, and a short ride on the local train to get to the nearest station to the Suzuki factory. There was some kind of event happening, but there seemed only to be food there, so I headed over the road to the Suzuki Museum. And first was a very detailed explanation of how concepts are brought to life, including this very realistic board meeting.
That's what I think too. As it happens, the results of a questionnaire that surveyed young mothers in Rome have just come out.
And apparently a design studio. Every step is carefully detailed. This step is genuinely fascinating. Still today, mock-ups of new cars are modelled in clay as part of the design process.
Functional and comfortable.
This museum takes itself very seriously, which is good in many ways, of course. But after seeing the design stuff already, I found the best bit so far. The Suzuki Jimny taken apart here or cut in half is good, but they've got 2 Vstroms that are being cut in half, so you can see inside the engine. This is just the best geek out for a Suzuki Vstrom driver.
And so the explanation of the process continues, explaining all the safety features, and then you see how the production line might work. In this part, you actually get to control a robot. It's very fun.
This is the whole factory, and I am in here right now.
And then a full mock-up of just some parts of the production line. And it turns out that Hamamatsu is the birthplace of many famous Japanese people. The founder of Yamaha, the founder of Suzuki, the founder of Honda, and more. Suzuki, however, did not start out as a car and motorcycle manufacturer.
It's funny that for the first 43 years, the Suzuki company just made these looms, but the first, what kind of motorbike? was made in 1952, just 43 years later after the first loom.
でも町の医者をやっていた親父に親父はある日スズライトの購入を決めたのです。
And yes, they made cars in the 50s as well, but it's the motorbikes we're more interested in, right?
Just like the Harley-Davidson Museum that I visited a few months ago, it's a fascinating insight to how these bicycles with engines morphed into motorcycles that we recognize today. This is one of very few motorcycles that have ever used a rotary engine. And now we're getting to the kind of bikes that I'd really love to own someday. Hated by many, but I think the Suzuki Katana looks amazing. Would I want to own a little bike like this? Maybe. Not so interesting, the outboard motors, but still good to see the history of Suzuki.
An Elton John edition of a Suzuki Vitara. Here we go. It's been good here. It's free, which makes it an even better museum. And yeah, it's been cool to see all the different bikes. It could do with a bit of an update. I don't think there's anything since the mid-90s, so maybe could add a few things. They've got a couple of concept models, but they're from 25 years ago, so. But yeah, fun afternoon.
And then back on the train for my next stop.
And now Osaka, where I haven't been before, and I'm staying in a new kind of hotel that I also have never stayed in.
It's my first ever stay in a capsule hotel. First, off with the shoes, and then when checking in, you're given a key to your locker. This is where you get your pajamas, which of course I look amazing in. And you're supposed to store most things in here. There isn't a lot of room in the capsule for them. Upstairs, there's a communal area, a very handy map for the maze of rooms. And then it's to D291. It is perhaps getting on a little bit. The TV is out of service. Everything here is out of use as well.
Supposed to talk. I'll have to explain later.
It was late by the time I arrived and got to my capsule, and without really much of a door, you did have to be quiet.
It's actually more spacious than I thought it would be. It's like I can sit up easily. I thought it would be lower. Yeah, there's all that communal space, which is nice. I guess that's your bedroom, you know. You don't need space here because you've got the communal space. And after I got this on, I went to the sauna and the bath. be completely naked. Yes, saunas are hot. It was 90 degrees Celsius. So, I did a couple of cycles, sauna, hot bath thing, and then a cool shower, and a break, and then repeat. I couldn't do any more. So yeah, then got this back on. I brought one little bag into the capsule. It's just got my charger, my wallet and phone. Yeah. I can hear someone snoring. We'll see how the night goes. It's an alright sleep. I do quite like a firm bed, but it's very firm.
Back on with the pajamas, robe. Honestly, I really wanted to keep them. They felt great. And then back out to my locker and to go and shower. And then back out to some natural light.
Well, that capsule hotel was fun. I don't know, is it a bit of a gimmick? I'm not sure it is. I think it's just a really efficient way to do things. And with the sauna and baths included, I think it's a pretty good deal. I mean, it was literally the cheapest place I could find last minute. So would I do it again? If it was the best deal, then yeah, for sure. So I've just got the one full day in Osaka, that's today. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. Osaka Castle, good food. This is one of Osaka's most, I wouldn't say top sites, most Instagram sites. The canal going through the city, well, like the entertainment area, and it's nice now, but after show again at night, then it's pretty different.
And this indeed was the entertainment area, full of bars and restaurants, one of which I had been recommended to go by a friend. After a bit of queuing outside and then inside, I was ushered to my place at the bar, and this being a tempura speciality, I just ordered a whole load of tempura things. The first being egg tempura, which I had never had before. And I was very fortunate getting a great view of the master chef. This really was a great meal and experience. Thank you so much, Rodrigo, for giving me the tip. And then indeed I did go to Osaka Castle. I decided not to take the minibus option, but walked. It was a lovely day and there was so much to see. One of them being the enormous stones that make up the outside wall. As always, there are temples as part of the complex. and then to the castle itself. Whilst there has been a castle here for 500 years, it has been rebuilt and restored several times. The building here is actually only 30 years old. It was a lovely walk past the moat, through the grounds, but it was almost time to leave Osaka already. So it was back on the Shinkansen, on my way to Hiroshima. And this time there was a local tram to get me to my hostel. I'm walking just a short distance from my hostel. You immediately see one of the most famous sights of the city, the old industrial promotion hall, destroyed but yet somehow still standing as a reminder of the bomb that was dropped here. It's been deliberately left as a reminder of what happened, and the park next to it and on the other side of the river has several memorials. Every memorial here talks about the search for peace. The Tourist Information Centre is housed in one of the other very few buildings that survived. This building had been a shop, and just one fortunate employee survived as they had gone down to the basement for supplies. And there are several groups in the parks, remembering and helping people remember in their own way. In Japan, Hiroshima is also famous for a particular food, okonomimura. A friend recommended the best place to go for this, a building in which every restaurant serves the same thing. As I took my seat at this particular restaurant, there were only 3 of us sat there, but yet they were cooking for about 25 empty seats. Suddenly I understood. I was sat with a school group on a trip, all having exactly the same meal. There is some variety possible, but the key parts of the dish are pancakes with the fried noodles inside, egg, and in my case, I had seafood. And after eating, I did a quick tour to see that, yes, every restaurant was exactly the same. So I'm here in Hiroshima and getting more news about my bike. I've been organising the ferry. It's on the truck at the moment, my bike, on the way to the ferry port. So now I've got to sort out the ferry, and they emailed me this afternoon saying they checked with customs and I cannot drive my bike in Korea. Again, because of UN conventions and stuff. I have Googled about it so much. I cannot find anything. I cannot find anything about it not being allowed. In fact, I Google and it says that Korea does recognize the Vienna Convention. It mentions lots of things about international driving permits. So on this occasion, I don't think I've made a mistake. With Japan, yes, because I Google now about it and I see it's very clear. I can't drive Brazilian bikes cannot be driven there. Korea, I can't find anything.
So I'm hopeful that they've just confused the international driving permit requirements with the bike, and if I can get in contact with someone in customs in Korea, then we can talk about it. At the moment the ferry company is not going to take it because it's not, they've been told it's not allowed in Korea. So I mean, let's hope, right?
And then with a visit to Hiroshima Castle, it was time to head on again. About 40 minutes southwest of the city is Miyajima Island, which I'd been recommended to go by several people. And even just on the ferry, you could already start to tell why. As well as just being beautiful and there being great hikes up the hills, it's most famous for this partly submerged gate leading to the shrine here. As I reached it though, low tide was almost there, so people were swarming around it to get just the perfect shot. And it's not just popular with people. And along with the beautiful buildings, it was definitely worth the trip. My last stop on my way towards Fukuoka.
Is this really how my bike's been sent across the country?